Limassol is probably the most misunderstood city in Cyprus. Most people come here for a few days, stay near the beach, go to the marina, and they leave thinking they have seen it all. They haven't. So if you're visiting Limassol, you're in the right place. This is a complete guide to experiencing the city properly. We'll cover the best beaches, the sites that are actually worth seeing, where to go for food, drinks and coffee, but also see the places most people completely miss, from traditional villages to nature trails and day trips around the region. Hello, my name is Savas, I'm from Travel Plus and we're a family-run travel company. We have been organizing tailor-made holidays in Cyprus for over 30 years, so this isn't just a random travel guide, this is the same insight that we give our clients every day. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to plan your time in Limassol, whether you're here for a few days or a full week. So let's start with something most people get wrong. What Limassol actually is. Limassol is the best place to stay if you want to experience Cyprus to the fullest. You have great beaches, a long coastline lined with hotels, beach bars, restaurants and cafes, worthwhile sights, and a city that offers much more than just a summer holiday. And what makes Limassol especially attractive is that it is also one of the best bases for exploring Cyprus. You have easy access to the Troodos Mountains, to many historical sites, and most importantly to the island's other major cities with just 1 hour drive. So what this means in practice is simple. By staying in Limassol, you can enjoy the city itself while also exploring almost every other part of Cyprus with ease. But before we go outside the city and talk about the villages, mountains and day trips, let's start with the city itself. The best place to begin is at the heart of Limassol, which is the promenade, the old port, the marina and the old town around the castle. This is the focal point for both locals and visitors, and it's where you really start to understand what Limassol is all about. The beauty of this area is that it's walkable and it's connected. You can spend your day walking along the promenade, enjoying a coffee at the old port, having lunch at the marina, and then exploring the old town around the castle area. The castle itself is the most iconic landmark of the old town of Limassol. According to tradition, this is where Richard the Lionheart married Berengaria of Navarre and crowned her the Queen of England in 1191. Today the castle houses the Cyprus Medieval Museum, so it's a good stop if you want to know the medieval history of the island. This part of the city is something I always recommend to our clients for their first day in Limassol, because it works like an orientation tour. It gives you a clear first impression of the city, of the sea, the lifestyle, the history and the atmosphere, all in one afternoon walk. This area is also a great place to stay if you want a more local walkable city experience. Around the old town, the castle area and the old port, you'll find plenty of Airbnbs and boutique hotels. But if you're looking for a more classic hotel experience, then you have to look further along the coastline, where Limassol's hotels are located. The Limassol coastline stretches for roughly 15 kilometers, and locals call this area the tourist area, since most of the city's hotels are located here. Along this coastline, you can walk by the beach, find organized beaches, coffee shops, restaurants, and of course beach bars. And this is one of the things that makes Limassol so enjoyable. You don't have to leave the city to find the beach. Everything is connected along the coastline. You can walk, swim, stop for coffee, go for lunch, spend time at the beach bar, all within the same coastal stretch. Now when it comes to swimming in Limassol, there isn't one single beach that everyone has to visit. The city has roughly 15 kilometers of coastline and you can swim almost anywhere along it. So most visitors simply swim at the beach in front of their hotel, and honestly that makes the most sense. The beaches along the city are generally quite similar, so convenience matters. But if I had to mention a couple of personal favorites, I would say the beach near St. Raphael Hotel at the eastern end of Limassol's coastline and Dassoudi Beach. I like St. Raphael area because it feels a little bit removed from the city. You're away from the traffic and the busy beachfront, so it feels a little bit more relaxed and remote. Dassoudi is also a great option because it's located within the city, but behind the beach, you don't have a main road or large hotels directly on top of you. You have a small eucalyptus forest which gives the area a natural and peaceful feeling. That being said, don't overcomplicate it. Choose the beach that is most convenient to you. Another thing to keep in mind is that all beaches in Cyprus are public, so you can swim wherever you prefer. Before we continue, I just want to quickly mention that this is exactly what we do at Travel Plus. We're a destination management company here in Cyprus, and we create tailor-made holidays for travelers, helping with everything from hotels to transfers to excursions and full itineraries. So, if you want help making the most of your trip to Cyprus, feel free to send us an email. You'll find the details in the description below. Once you've experienced the city, the coastline and the old town, the next thing you want to look at is of course the historical sightseeing around Limassol. We have already mentioned the Limassol castle in the old town, but there is more to see outside the city. The first place I will recommend is Kolossi Castle. Kolossi Castle may not be a huge site, but historically it is very important. It is connected with the medieval Crusader period in Cyprus, especially with the Knights of St. John, and it has a strong connection with Commandaria, the traditional sweet wine of Cyprus. So Kolossi Castle is not just about seeing a medieval castle, it's also a place where you understand the part of Ireland's wine history, medieval history, and the role Cyprus played during the Crusader period. Then, very close to Kolossi Castle, just a drive away, you have the archaeological site of Kourion. Kourion is one of the most impressive archaeological sites in Cyprus. It was one of the ancient city kingdoms of the island, and today you can still see the remains from different periods of its history, including mosaics, the ruins of ancient houses and villas, public buildings, and of course, the beautiful amphitheater overlooking the sea. This is one of those places where the location is just as powerful as the history. You're standing on a hill above the coastline with the ruins around you and the sea right in front of you. It's easily one of the most beautiful archaeological sites in Cyprus. And very close to Kourion, you also have the sanctuary of Apollo Hylates. Apollon Hylates was considered the protector of Kourion, and this sanctuary was one of the most important religious sites connected with this ancient city. It's only a short drive from the main archaeological site. If you're visiting Kourion, it's definitely worth visiting. Now that we've seen the city of Limassol and we have looked at the most important historical sites around it, the next thing you need to experience is the villages. Because if you want to understand Cyprus in a more authentic way, you cannot only stay by the coast, you have to go inland. And this is where Limassol district really shines. Some of the most beautiful villages in Cyprus are within easy reach of the city, especially in the wine region of Limassol. The first village I will recommend is Lofu. Lofu is a small picturesque village built on the hills with narrow streets, traditional stone houses, and a very peaceful atmosphere. It is part of the Limassol wine route, so it also connects naturally with the wine culture of the area. It's the kind of village where you don't need a big plan. You go there to walk around, take photos, enjoy the architecture, have a coffee or lunch, and experience a quieter, more traditional side of Cyprus. Very close to Lofu, another village I always recommend is Omodos. Omodos is one of the most popular and well-known villages in Cyprus. It's also a wine-producing village surrounded by vineyards and wineries, so it's also a very good place if you want to combine village life with wine tasting. The heart of Omodos is the main square and the monastery of the Holy Cross, which is the most important landmark of the village. Omodos can get quite busy, especially on the weekends, so if you want to have lunch or try traditional brunch with local products, I would recommend making a reservation. But the popularity makes sense. You have the square, the monastery, traditional houses, small shops, local products, wineries around the village, and a strong sense of Cypriot village life. So, if you want a simple and beautiful village excursion from Limassol, Lofu and Omodos are two of the best choices. Now, if you want to go deeper into the mountains, then I would recommend Platres village. Platres is different from Lofu and Omodos though. It's not necessarily the same kind of picturesque wine village. It is higher in the Troodos mountains, surrounded by forest, and the atmosphere is much cooler and more mountainous. For Cypriots, Platres has always been one of the classic places to escape the summer heat. Especially in August, September, and even into October, it can be very lively on weekends, with locals going there for food, coffee, nature, and cooler temperatures. Another reason I love the Platres area is the nature. Around Platres you have some of the nicest walks in Cyprus, especially the Milomeris Trail and the Kalidonia Trail. Both of these trails are connected with waterfalls. Now, to be clear, don't expect giant waterfalls like you will see in other countries. This is Cyprus. The waterfalls are beautiful, but the real experience is the forest, the shade, the fresh air, the sound of water, and the feeling that you are seeing a completely different side of the island. These trails are especially good because you can do them in many seasons, even in summer since you're in the mountains and there is shade. But if you want a different kind of hike, I will also recommend Cape Aspro near Pissouri village. Cape Aspro is not a forest trail, it's a coastal trail with dramatic white cliffs and incredible views over the sea. It's one of the most impressive coastal walks in Cyprus. The Cape Aspro area is known for its white limestone cliffs, rising for more than 200 meters with several trails and viewpoints above the sea. But here I need to give you a warning because this trail is by the sea, there is little shade, so I would avoid doing it in the middle of summer. It can be extremely hot, so it's much better to choose a cooler month or at least do it very early in the day. Cape Aspro is also very close to Pissouri village, which is a traditional village where you can stop for food or visit a local tavern. And just below the village there is Pissouri Bay, which is a beautiful beach and a nice place to relax after the hike. One practical note is that if you want to experience the villages, nature trails and archaeological sites properly, having a car makes a huge difference. So, this is Limassol. The city, the coastline, the old town, the beaches, the history, the villages and of course the mountains, all from one base.